Hello, we are live talking about the Oscars 2025. My name is Ben Friedman. We are going right off the cuffs for this, so I'm adjusting stuff as we're going. And yes, we are talking about this year's Oscar ceremony, which let me just share my screen real quick because there is actually quite a lot to talk about. There is what I would call a few really shocking twists that happened. I think some of it was predictable. I think others of it were not. And I let me stop sharing that. Actually, stop sharing. Sorry, I'm sharing the wrong screen. But yes, we are talking essentially about this year's Oscars ceremony. And there's a lot to really just like get out of the way. So let's share this window. And yeah, we're now looking at this year's winners, which again, sorry, I'm doing this live off the air. The goal of today's video: five winners, five losers, because this was a shocking one. And as the thumbnail implies, there was some historic wins from costume design for the first African American man. For international feature, Brazil won its first Oscar for I'm Still Here too. Anora. Anora made history tonight. And that's what I want to talk about. So, to everyone joining with me today, thank you so much. I'm going to be on for a little bit. Feel free to leave me comments. I'll be reading them on air live. And to anyone watching, please make sure to like and subscribe. I don't get real monetization for these videos. This one's a not one that makes me a ton. So I just want to say your guys' support by subscribing, leaving comments. That's what's really going to help me today. But let's just kind of go through a quick recap of the night. Anora was the big winner. And I was doing tallies as the show was going up. I believe Anora won 5 Oscars. 4 of them were for Sean Baker. For reference, there are those who do not know, this is the most Oscars one person has won in one given night since Walt Disney in the 1950s. And Walt Disney, he won all of these for different movies. Sean Baker won it for one movie, Anora. That's a historic win. And that's a win that I have some conflicted thoughts about, and we'll get into it today. But yes, for the big categories, we have Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Editing go to Anora. We then had the Brutalist pick up a win for Adrian Brody. Brody gave an awful speech, which we'll talk about. We had other wins. Uh, I'm Still Here won Best International Feature, which is the first Oscar win for the country of Brazil. Walter Salles' film. Best Actress, like I said, went to Madison. And then I'm trying to think what else happened in the main big categories. Zoe Saldana won for Emilia Perez. Kieran Culkin won for A Real Pain. So without further ado, and again, I'm kind of doing this live, so feel free to leave comments as I'm going. Let's do the biggest winners and losers of this year's ceremony. Let's just kind of start with a fun winner because this one was a real upset. This was like one where I'm like, maybe the Oscars aren't just going to go by chalk as I thought they may do this year. And I am, of course, talking about the category of Best Animated Feature. Latvia won historic win tonight for the country. It is its first Oscar. I think it's its first nomination plus its first win for Best Animated Feature. Flow. This is a movie about a black cat that goes on an adventure with other cats. Basically, flood comes in and these animals have to survive. It is a really small indie movie. Really just do it on your bootstraps, whatever the term is. I'm blanking on the term. This is what happens when you've been watching stuff for hours. Flow made history. It beat the Wild Robot. It was quite a big upset. Wild Robot had been winning much of the precursors. Flow, of course, won Golden Globes, but it hadn't won much after it. It did kind of feel like the Wild Robot would win. This is the second year in a row that animated feature went to an international film. Last year was Boy and the Heron. This year it was Flow. That's where I was starting to feel like, oh, is the Academy getting a little bit more international? And I'm like, is that's where we could see I'm Still Here surprising in a few other categories? We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's just talk about one of the funny losers of tonight. Joker Folie Adu just caught bullets tonight, just out of nowhere. Uh, Conan O'Brien did this bit where he brought up a bunch of the firefighters and they read like kind of controversial, not really edgy jokes. And one of them was essentially the firefighters made a joke about all the people who lost their houses the tragedy of it, and the producers of Joker Folie à Deux who lost their houses. It was, I don't remember the exact wording of the joke. It was just a bullet straight to Joker Folie à Deux, just out of nowhere. This film got nominated for nothing. It got shut out. This was a film that won quite a few Oscars its last go around. So that was just a funny, just Joker Folie à Deux taking another L. So we got Flo, big win. We have bad loser for Joker Folie à Deux. Let's get on to the next one. And I promise you guys, I'm Still Here is coming. Everyone who's watching, thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. And also, make sure to leave your comments because I'll read any comments that come in my way for this. It really does help me out. Let's talk about another winner. I'm going to do another kind of fun one that's, I think, is actually may have bigger implications next year. And I just want to say, subscribe to my channel. I have a video coming out probably Thursday, but maybe Tuesday, that is going to be way too early Oscar predictions for 2026. I've got a list of films that I wanted to talk about to get people's awareness already out there. But the reason I mentioned that video is because I want to talk about one that I think set itself up well for next year, and that is Wicked for Good. Wicked had a pretty big night despite not winning a ton of categories. It won, I think it won 2 or 3. Let's see. I have it listed for 2, and I have it for Best Costume Design and Best Production Design. Those are 2 real Oscars that it won. And also, it just had a really good night. I thought Wicked came out really strong. You had Bowen Yang up there for a very memorable costume design introduction. I thought he was very funny. Paul Tazewell, Paul Tazewell is the first African American man to win in Best Costume Design. That was a really sweet, that was a really real moment. I really enjoyed that one, beating out other films like Nosferatu. I really liked that whole setup where they had 5 representatives from each movie. I think it was Lily Rose Depp, Connie Nielsen, Lithgow, Elle Fanning, and then, oh my gosh, Bowen Yang. They come out. I thought this was a really fun one. And then you open the show with Erivo and Ariana Grande. They were front and center. They had this really good opening for it. I just thought this really worked really well. And it was almost Cynthia Erivo communicating straight to the people who will be nominating her again, possibly next year for Wicked for Good, which is just like, hey, look at how incredible I am. Look how much I hold command of the room. Maybe next year, this should be my 4-year consideration. Same with Grande. Like, Erivo got the moment because she got to do Defying Gravity. Grande got to do Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It really worked as an opening. I know some people are like, what the hell is with all these music montages for stuff that's not even really in contention? Wicked obviously was, but it's not like Defying Gravity was in contention. Good way to open the show because it's the film probably most people have seen who watch the Oscars. So I think Wicked put itself in a really good position for next year. I thought it was very strategic, very smart campaigning. Big loser of the night. Let's jump to a loser. Did you guys see what I saw? I thought it was atrocious. They had a James Bond montage. It had a few singers, some of them I didn't even recognize. And I just thought it was the stupidest thing. It was like a 10-minute montage in the middle. This show went long, I think. So 4 to basically 7:45, closer to 8. Like, this was 3 hours and 45 minutes. It did not need to be this long. And you know, the easiest way to make it way shorter, just cut out the James Bond monologue and you're probably at 3 hours and a half. Like, very long. Yes, I see the comment. That's a very funny comment. This would have been yeah, I don't even want to comment on this one. Emilia Perez, yikes. We'll talk about that in a second because there are some losers from Emilia Perez on this list. But yes, that was a just bizarre James Bond getting like a 15. Like, what was the point of it? Like, was it like, I don't think it was a 50th anniversary. I don't think it was a 100th anniversary. Like, it's not like Sean Connery had passed this year. Like, I didn't get the point of this. Maybe they said it in the broadcast and I missed it. But yeah, the James Bond performance was just a whiff. I thought it was awful. So that was a loser in my mind. So we have Flo as a winner. We have Wicked Crew as a winner. We have James Bond and Joker Folie à Deux as losers. 2 films that had nothing to do with this year's ceremony. Let's talk about another winner. I have, okay, this one's a weird one because this almost kind of jumps in between winner or loser. I have Adrian Brody as The Brutalist. The Brutalist actually had a pretty good night all in all. I think it ended up winning 3 awards. It won cinematography, if I'm correct. Yeah, it won cinematography, score, and best actor. And you know what? I was gonna give Adrian Brody, who you can see here, his props. Yeah, I'm zooming in right there. I was gonna give him his props. I'm like, you know what? Adrian Brody, true wins. The Brutalist, like it had a really good performance. Like I had him in my win category. And then he gave what I thought was legitimately one of the dullest, worst Oscar speeches. Anyone who watched this live, just like drop a comment in the comment section, like right now. Like, did any of you guys enjoy Adrian Brody's speech? I thought it was horrendous. It went on forever. He did this weird thing halfway through where they were trying to wrap it up. He basically stopped them from wrapping it up. I was like, oh my God. Like, he said nothing of substance. I thought it was just such a lame, dull speech. I was like, wow, for a guy who already had such controversy from his first Oscar win with the Halle Berry moment to now come to this moment and be as bad as it was, and to give that speech, I was like, oh my God, like people who were making fun of Chalamet last year for being self-indulgent, this was like another level. I was like so turned off by Adrian Brody's speech. And I will be getting to all these comments, but I do see this comment from, I believe, is it pronounced Melinda? I hope I have that pronounced. Yeah. Yeah. What was that? What was that? I legitimately was like, what? It went on for so long. Like, do you guys remember Will Smith's speech in 2022 when he won for King Richard? And it was quite literally after the slap that had transpired. I think Will Smith gave a better speech than Adrian Brody. And Will Smith had the weirdest circumstances along with that. Like, Adrian Brody's speech was truly, truly awful. Like, what? Like, you know what? In a second, let's actually, I wonder if I can pull this up. I might pull a mulligan right here. Let's just see if I can pull this up. I am going to watch this speech live. Because I think that's kind of funny to do. So let's just, this may take a second from me, so I apologize. Adrian Brody. Yeah, here it is. 6 minutes, 50 seconds. Kieran Culkin presented it. Let me see. Is it playing? Yeah. Okay. So here it is. I hope you guys can hear the audio. Let me know if you can. I'm going to have subtitles on just in case. So he gets on there. We don't need to watch the whole thing. He goes up there and like, he's talking about like, you know, just some of the normal stuff with acting. Like the beginning part of his speech, I was just like, okay, like this is just kind of what we expect. Like, it's fine. Let me see if I can pop up the audio. Here we go. Like I said, this part was like kind of the normal stuff that you expect. Like I wasn't really turned off by this. Like I thought this part was like fine. Like again, it's a bit self-indulgent for my taste. I just didn't think he had anything really to say. If you know you have a really good chance at winning an Oscar, write a good speech. Let me lower this so you guys can kind of hear me ranting. Like, write a speech. Like, prepare. Like, this felt so off the cuff bad. Like, what are we talking about here? I was just so turned off by this speech. I was like, oh my God, you couldn't even prepare. Like, this is your second opportunity. Like, Brody, like, what are you doing? You're such a talented guy, and you just present yourself in this way in a film that a lot of people already kind of thought was a bit up its own ass. Like, this didn't help the case. The speech goes on for so much longer. He tries shouting out the actors in a way that I just found like so like just kind of like, oh, like it just feels like the thing to do, but he doesn't talk about any of the performances. Like, don't shout them out. It keeps going. Cut to it. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, okay, here's the part. So they start playing him off stage. He starts like, hey, don't do this. Like, I've been here before. Like, you're not cutting me off. And the orchestra quite literally turns off. They cut off so many other performances. Like, I forgot who, can someone remind me in the comments? Who was it best sound? They cut out the third person. No, was it? It was might have been score. But they essentially just like cut off the person. No, it was Denis Villeneuve. It was the Denis Villeneuve. It was sound, I think, in part 2-1. And they just like cut off the person. And Brody can just talk like this for like 7 minutes. Like, yikes, this was such a bad, disastrous speech. This really turned me off of him. but let me just pause that. We're going to get to this, guys, in a second. These were some of your guys' predictions. We have your guys' response. 29 people responded to it to see. So we'll see how people did generally on this with their predictions. But yeah, so I have Adrian Brody just generally as a loser for this. Again, I just thought it was a really bad speech from Brody. But again, he's also a winner because he had a good win and it was a good moment for him and all of that. So that's my little rant on Adrian Brody. I probably spent too much time on it, but watching, I was like just so turned off by it. On a movie that I also was just like pretty like this didn't work for me at all. Let's talk about someone who is more definitively a loser because they quite literally lost an award that a lot of people thought they were going to win, and probably was their opportunity to win an Oscar. To be honest, everyone kind of thought Demi Moore was going to win. She had won a lot of the precursors. She won SAG last week. This also is an indication that the Screen Actors Guild doesn't always mean as much as it does, because it got wrong Chalamet winning for Best Actor, and it got wrong Demi Moore winning for The Substance. That's the film that I was looking for. So that is another indication of just like, oh, this kind of went wrong. So yeah, Demi Moore loses Best Actress to Mikey Madison. Mikey Madison, the young actress. Let's see how Mikey Madison made her Instagram profile. Yeah, Brazilians are coming for her. Ooh, that's not good. I never want anyone to just start online harassing people for winning. But anyway, with that said, like I actually like I had this was kind of the point that I made while talking about this and kind of writing down my notes. Like Demi Moore loses, like I thought she was going to win. I had predicted her to win. I had some pretty bad losses this year. Like I went pretty mixed on my win loss total this year for predictions. I did think Demi Moore was going to win. Let's see. This person says Demi was not a protagonist. That's the problem. I think that is actually a fair comment. Thank you for leaving that comment. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. But I think that is a right idea. Demi Moore is not in the movie as much as some people think she might be. She's definitely not in the movie as much as Mikey Madison is in Anora. She's not in the movie as much as Fernanda Torres is in I'm Still Here, and she's not in the movie as much as even Cynthia Erivo is for Wicked. Like she is in many ways, like you could have probably put her in supporting actress and it wouldn't have been as big of category fraud. I do think she is the lead. I think it was smart to put her at face value as the lead. This also, just as a reminder, this shows the Golden Globes mean jack shit, and we always overreact to the Golden Globes because Anora went 0 at the Golden Globes. Fernanda Torres wins at the Golden Globes. Demi Moore wins at the Golden Globes. Like Brady Corbet won director. Like this award show doesn't mean anything. SAG doesn't mean anything. Directors and producers, and maybe in some cases BAFTA, seem to still have some influence, but I don't think Screen Actors is too big of a body to really mean much. Like you can't get as much from it. Demi Moore, like I said, kind of a shocking loss. I know a lot of people were rooting for Fernanda Torres. I thought it really was this race. I know some people thought it was between Demi and Mikey. I actually did think Fernanda Torres had a really good shot at this. We will talk about I'm Still Here because I think it is actually really worth celebrating. As much as it didn't win for Fernanda Torres, which I do think she gave the best performance, I think there's a lot of to be happy about with I'm Still Here's night because it made history tonight. Make no doubt about that. But Mikey Madison, big winner of the night. Demi Moore, loser of the night. So let's actually now just pivot over to, let's do it. I'm Still Here, big winner. You know why I'm Still Here is a big winner? Walter Salles. This film came and beat Emilia Perez. Emilia Perez, 13 nominations. Yep, we got the flags here. But it did it. It won international feature, making it the first film, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first film that Brazil has won an Oscar for. It made history tonight. It was a big win. We're seeing it all here. There's been a lot of love on this channel. I'll be talking about this maybe in more detail. I don't know. Guys, also let me know. I'm going to start running out of content now that the Oscars is done. I'm going to go back to movie reviews. I'm probably going to start doing some past awards movies and review those. But if there's anything I should review on this channel, or you want me to talk about any of the awards, just like drop me a comment in my YouTube section so I can kind of know what you guys want to see from me. up until the next years because, like I said, I do movie reviews typically. So the Oscars, I went pretty hard on it this year as I usually do. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys. But anyway, like I said, I'm still here. Big win. Walter Salas beat Emilia Perez. Emilia Perez, 13 nominations. I think it ended up having 2 wins for Best Supporting Actress and Best Original Song. So that was a big win. That was a really big moment. You could feel the enthusiasm. This film obviously overperformed. I know a lot of people would have been just like through the moon excited if I'm Still Here won uh, Best Actress and Fernando Torres did. I think this was still a really good showing for I'm Still Here, a film that many people weren't even positive it was going to get into actress, and no one was really predicting it for picture. So that's a great win for I'm Still Here. Drop some comments because we're wrapping up this video soon, and I will be staying on to try to answer all the comments that come in. Again, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Got to keep just saying this. Big loser of the night. I believe A Complete Unknown had 8 Oscar nominations, and it went 0 for 8. Timothee Chalamet obviously lost for Adrian Brody. After that speech Brody gave, I was like, damn, I wish Chalamet was up here giving a much better speech. That yellow suit Chalamet had on, that was pretty inspirational to us all. Yeah, A Complete Unknown just blanked, and I think it overperformed, and that's the reason that it blanked. Really, this was a film that I never predicted to get this many. I thought it'd have some below the lines. I thought it would have Best Actor, and I thought there was like maybe an outside chance Norton got a nomination. I never really pictured it as a directing, a screenplay. Like picture I was predicting near the end as I was just seeing other films not make it the cut. But A Complete Unknown, definitely a disappointing night. I think it's one of the 2 films nominated for Best Picture that went 0 in its nominations. Those 2 were, let me make sure I have this right, Nickel Boys and and A Complete Unknown. And I have the tally here. And I want to say I updated this. I hope I did. Anora won big. It had the most, 5. Conclave had 1 adapted screenplay. Wicked had 2 for best production and costume design. Substance had best makeup and hairstyling. Emilia Perez had best supporting actress for Zoe Saldana and Zoe Saldana, and then a best original song for Ma. Dune Part 2 won sound and visual effects. The Brutalist won, and I noted this. It took 2 hours and 51 minutes for The Brutalist to win anything. It was, gosh, help me remember this. The Brutalist won for best actor, obviously, best score, and then best cinematography. Those were the 3 wins for The Brutalist. And then I'm Still Here won for best international feature. Nickel Boys, A Complete Unknown, went 0 in this. So, like I said, big wins for those films. And Nickel Boys, A Complete Unknown, went home empty-handed. They really did spread the love this year. It does look like Anora obviously performed the best, but The Brutalist got a good amount of wins. In the race between Neon and A24, Neon definitely won this year in a pretty definitive way. So let me just write down Mikey Madison real quick because I'm going to go over my wins and losses in a second. Okay, let's go. Keep going. Oh, oopsie. One more. Sorry, I'm making notes live on air. So Complete Unknown loses, and then I guess we got to talk about the big winner of this night, which is what I've mentioned, Anora. Anora, a film that a lot of people were like, oh, it's dead in the water. It's the front runner. It didn't have the momentum. It blanked at the Golden Globes, ends up winning. Sean Baker, 4 Academy Awards in one night. I don't know if you guys know how historic this is. Only one other man has done this in the Oscars history. That was Walt Disney in like the 1950s, and Walt Disney did it for different movies. Now, some people might be remembering Bong Joon-ho a few years ago for Parasite. I don't think the best international feature, while he did give the speech for it, I don't know if he technically has it. It went to the country of South Korea. So technically he was up there, but he doesn't have 4, I guess, in his room. Now, I think South Korea could technically allow him to keep it, but usually they throw it in a museum or a government building. Sean Baker has 4 in his possession. Best editing, which was a surprise, best original screenplay, best director, best picture, which he was a producer on, and of course, Mikey Madison winning best actress. Now, I just want to say this, and I'm seeing some comments in in my comment section. Let me just share this. I had watched The Substance and Demi did well, but Fernando was better. But if Demi had won, at least Fernando would have lost to a veteran law. Yeah, that's what I. Let's just kind of talk about Mikey Madison win for Best Actress. I didn't love this win, truthfully, to be honest. And this is nothing against Mikey Madison, who I actually did list as one of my favorite performances of this year. I do think she's quite good in Anora. It just was so weird to me that Anora was this dominant this year. Again, I liked Anora a lot. I think I had it top 8 this year in my favorite films of the year. It's a really good movie. This is also a movie that is not going to play very well to anybody. I actually talked to a former teacher of mine who is, I think, 60, 61. And I had texted him because I know he watches all these movies. I know he tracks the best picture, like movies. Like he always does make a point to go see these movies. And I asked him like what he had thought about Anora. And he did just kind of call it softcore pornography. Like it was mildly amusing and he thought the Armenian goons were very funny. But he was pretty dismissive of this movie. And I think a lot of people are going to kind of think that as we go along. I don't think people, especially an older crowd, are going to love the Mikey Madison Anora win. Again, between it, she's kind of my third favorite performance. I thought Fernando was better. I thought Demi Moore was better. Like, I just didn't really like Anora. And I guess it's because, like, if you're awarding Anora everything, like, how do you not reward Mikey Madison? This was a case where I was like, I thought there was going to be a little bit of a spread the wealth and you were going to see Demi Moore win. Mikey Madison, like Anora being this dominant, I was like, really? Like, this is the film they're going to over reward this year? I don't know. I thought that was a little weird. It didn't like, again, and again, this is a film that I like. So maybe that's just that weird confliction of me, but it's just like looking out after it. I'm like, really? Anora performed this big? I thought it was a bit weird. Let's talk about the other loser of the night. And this one was kind of an obvious one. Good for her for going to the show and taking all the jokes. Carla Sofia Gascon, it was clearly awkward in the room anytime Emilia Perez, or specifically when Carla Sofia Gascon brought in. Conan went straight at her in the monologue. He made a joke about her tweets. She made a joke about the publicist panicking every time they found a new Carla Sofia Gascon tweet. Like, there was a lot of moments at Emilia Perez's expense tonight. Obviously, it had a few big wins. Zoe Saldana, a winner. Honestly, I think it's a bad win. And I think it's like, I think she's the best part in Emilia Perez, but that's like not really high praise. Like, yeah, she is good in the movie. The El Ma sequence, which did win Best Original Song, is the highlight of the movie. She is electric and alive in that movie, in a movie that I just think fundamentally doesn't really work. I've seen this film twice. First time I reviewed it, I think I gave it 3 stars. Seeing it a second time, I was like, this is 2-star, 2.5, being generous. It's not a particularly good film. The room was very clearly awkward about Emilia Perez. It did not win International Picture. This was a film that I think a lot more people were going to predict didn't end up doing much. Netflix, another loss for them this year, though they won a few key ones. And to be honest, I don't know how much Emilia Perez underperformed. To be honest, I kind of had this predicted as the awards. It was going to win for a long time. I never thought Carla Sofia Gascon was positive to win this award. I never tapped her even before the controversy. So let's just rerun that again. Winners, I have Flo, Anora / Sean Baker / Mikey Madison. So the Anora crew, big winner. Wicked, big winner, especially setting themselves up next year, and Paul Tazewell making history as the first African-American man to win costume design. I'm Still Here winning International Picture. And then this weird, like, half and half, The Brutalist plus Adrian Brody as a winner, though Brody's speech kind of making him a loser at the same time. Losers, Carla Sofia Gascon / Emilia Perez / Netflix. James Bond montage, like, what the fuck was that? Joker Folie à Deux. Taking straight bullets in this, despite not even being nominated. A Complete Unknown, going 0 for 8, and then Demi Moore losing Best Actress. So those were some. Let's take some of your guys' YouTube comments real quick. So I'm just going to kind of go back. Tiffany said, wow, what a season for Oscars. Yes, it was. And I want to thank everyone who has been following along. I started really covering the Oscars hard this year in September. I think I was at around 1,100 subscribers. I'm now nearing 3,000. So your guys' support has meant the world to me. You guys helped me get monetized. You've really helped make me allow me to focus this as a side career, like really like make a name for myself. And you don't know how much it helps. Your guys' support gets me through the door with these studios. This allows me to see movies. When I was able to get you guys a review of The Apprentice early, that's because the studio reached out to let me review that film. When I got to see other films, like trying to think of another one that I is a good example of this, but like when I got to see Memoir of a Snail, that's because of the name that I've made for myself as a writer, as a YouTube film critic. Like that all really helps. There's been so many cases of that where I've got to see some of these films early. Nickel Boys, The Brutalist, like all these films, these reviews that I get to you, early access screenings for me, whether that's getting to see Inside Out 2 a week early, all of that really does help me grow. Flow, like all of that. You guys helped me grow so much this year. I am so appreciative to everyone watching. So do me a favor, subscribe. It really does help. But yes, it was a crazy ceremony this year. Uh, this is referring to Adrian Brody. Yeah, bad speech. Kieran Culkin had the best speech. I will comment on this. I thought the Oscars started at 5, so I missed the monologue and then I missed Culkin's speech. I went back and watched Conan O'Brien's monologue. I haven't watched the Culkin speech, but I heard it was a good speech. Uh, I had read this comment earlier. Demi was not a protagonist for. Demi was not a protagonist. That's the problem. Bruna Torres shared Brazil flags. Mikey is great as Anora, but I think me or Fernanda should have won. I am in full agreement. Have a lot more love from Brazil coming in. I thought Brazil had won before. And then somebody said Black Orpheus didn't represent Brazil. Again, I don't know. I thought Nick Offerman said during the broadcast that this was the first win for Brazil. I may have heard that wrong. Let's see this comment. Now I have to watch Nora to be able to be angry that Fernanda didn't get the Oscar. I think is that the word? Didn't get with reason. So here's the thing. I always encourage people to do this. Like I know it is easy to go into the outrage and like to buy into the person that you're always winning. Mikey Madison does give a good performance. Like I don't think this is like she's not my favorite, but this is not a bad win for an actress. Like this is a talented actress. This is an actress that clearly has a future. She has real talent in this movie. Like I do want to make sure we get like that. Like this isn't like Carla Sofia Gascon winning for Emilia Perez, where you're just like, ew, like what the hell is this film winning this? Like Anora is a great movie. Let's see. The history making part was being nominated for a best picture of the general categories. Okay, so that's what it was. It was that it broke through into the above the lines best picture. So thank you for clearing that up. I'm sorry I cannot pronounce the name. Everyone keep leaving me comments. I'm going to go through all of these. I'll stay on as long as you guys are staying on. Let's see. I had watched The Substance and Demi did well. But Fernando was best. But if Demi had won, at least Fernando would have lost to a veteran. I think I might have read this comment earlier. But again, like I said, this was another real point that was brought up. I'm going to cut back to me so you guys can hang out with me a little bit for a while. And then we're going to go into some of your guys's predictions as well, because some of you guys helped vote. And let's just kind of see how you guys did. I think 30 people voted along with me when I had released a video a few days ago where I did my predictions and I made a Google form. So some of you may have voted with me. So we'll go over those in a second. Where'd my last comment go? Here we go. A complete unknown's flop was predictable. Alan Robinson, Wesley Lopez Rodriguez, long name. I thought Chalamet was competitive. I really did. I thought even after SAG, I'm like, you know what? Does he have this in the bag? I really did think Chalamet could win. Carla, thank you for doing this live stream. You're welcome, Carla. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It does help. But Carla, thank you for the comment. Anora, same Oscars win as it happened one night. The bar is so low nowadays. Same Oscar win. So it happened one night, won 5. Again, this is a case where it's just like, I actually do think Anora is a good film. I don't really want to spend time shitting on it. But again, I was a bit surprised with how dominant of a win it was. Like, I was surprised that I think it is going to be quite surprising to look back and be like, Sean Baker made history for Anora. like over somebody like Christopher Nolan, who I think had the did he have the opportunity to do it last year? Best No, I think he only won two last year. He won Best Picture, Best Director. He could have won Screenplay, but he didn't. But he doesn't edit his own films. I'm pretty sure that was another editor who did win for that year. So yeah, like it is a bit weird in my mind that Sean Baker had as dominant. Sean Baker, great night for him, obviously. But I also thought, sorry, that he gave great speeches all four times he was up there. I legitimately thought he was so charismatic. I didn't know he had that in him. I thought he was so personable up there, talking about the movies, kind of doing the same thing that I think Brady Corbet was doing it, but in a way that I found far more accessible. Let's go to this. That Oscar was for Fernanda. Like I said, she would have been mine as well. Fernanda was the only deserve uh, again, I don't necessarily agree with this comment. I think Demi Moore, I think Arrivo, and I think Madison do give good performances. Okay, I'm not even going to engage with that. Even sorry for sharing that one. Sean Baker wins with his guerrilla filmmaking style, and Linklater never won. Shame. I, you know what? I'm not really trying to get into the bashing of movies. I will say this: I did notice at one point Tarantino comes out to present Best Director, and I'm like, oh, it must be going to Sean Baker. Like I think Sean Baker is in that same mold as Richard Linklater, as Quentin Tarantino, as the Kevin Smiths, as those people who come out of the '90s indie sensation and really just like boots on the ground, like make their own films. I did think that Timothy not winning an Oscar was a crime. Isaac Lee, I agree. I wanted Chalamet to win Best Actor very badly. I'll say it right here. I wasn't a fan of Adrian Brody's performance. I think he's good in that movie. Does he need a second Oscar for The Brutalist? No. And did he give a good speech? No. Uh, Here we go. Clever Eduardo Silva. I don't hate Mikey Madison. Unfortunately, I think she'll go down in history as another Gwyneth Paltrow. Hopefully not. I think she's much better. As for Fernanda, she'll be forever remembered. Again, I get the love for Fernanda Torres. I get the love for Demi Moore. I I do think Mikey Madison will end up going down as a pretty beloved one. I would have rather Yora Borisov winning instead of Madison. Well, that I don't. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, if Anora did get an acting category, it should have gone to Mikey Madison. Uh, I Yorda's very good in that. Personally, here's what I'll say. I did want somebody else to win Best Supporting Actor. It was Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. That was the one that I was like secretly hoping he had a chance to win. Let's go through a few more comments. This is from Madison. I thought Madison, congratulations on your Oscar win today. I thought narrative would have pushed me over the edge. Sad to see The Substance only getting one award. Let's just talk about this. This is an interesting comment, Madison. This might be horror bias. That is really a real thing that I was always wondering if The Substance was going to be able to overcome the horror bias. And there is reason to believe that it didn't get over it, because I really did think Demi Moore. I think you're right. And I always take narrative as one of the more important things to consider in an awards race. And I thought Demi Moore had the narrative. So I trust me, I thought the same thing too when Mikey Madison had won, where I'm just like, and The Substance wasn't winning in a few other key categories. So I'm just like, is this maybe still a horror bias? Like, is this the step in the right direction where The Substance gets in, but is it still too far to actually get this in? And I think this case of Demi Moore losing, this might have been the case of it's still just a bridge too far. And Demi Moore, it is a crazy film. This is a body horror film to the max. Like, The Substance is not subtle, and it goes for it big, and it is a really disgusting to watch movie that Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, they all commit to it. So Madison, thank you so much for your comment. I hope you're subscribed to my channel. Again, I apologize for not being able to announce this name, Leo, but Sean Baker makes movies with his phone. The Brutalist was epic. There is a real ingenuity to what Sean Baker does. And again, I get that some of this is the hate for Sean Baker and how dominant Anora had. There is a real talent to what Anora accomplishes. And I think that movie looks beautiful. I think it does have stunning cinematography. Like there is so much that that film does well that I want to celebrate it. Like it is innovative to do what Sean Baker does with the budget. I think he said Anora has a $6 million budget. That's really cool. Like that, we should be encouraging films like that. Let's see. Leo, thank you for the comment. You also said the Brutalist beat the best of. I'm not positive the Brutalist beat the best of the bunch. Are you saying that it is the best of the bunch? Feel free to leave another comment for me. But Brutalist was definitely not my favorite. I'll be honest there. Over Anora, over the Brutalist, I would have gone Anora pretty easily. Brutalist didn't fully work for me the same way it worked for other people. Madison Law, thank you again. Congratulations. Was the best in the bunch. Thank you for that clarification. Madison, you are agreeing with me of the horror buys. Let's read your comment. It's sad to see cinematic horror like Nosferatu and The Substance being snubbed. I think more work needs to be done with diversifying Academy voters to get a fair shot. I think this is what I would say. I think The Brutalist getting the nomination is not The Brutalist. Geez, I'm so lost in my own thoughts. I've been working for a few hours now. I think Nosferatu, I think The Substance getting these nominations is a really big deal that cannot be underrated. I really want to emphasize that. Like, these are two huge steps for horror. And Nosferatu got really big nominations in cinematography, costume, and what was the third one? Was it production design? Like, those aren't just like visual effects or like something where like a Marvel movie or DC movies like sneak in. Like, Nosferatu got real respect. I think there was even a chance that it was like the 11th or 12th for Best Picture. It just like missed the cut. Like, we are making progress. But Madison, thank you for your comments. But I hated the cultural stereotypes in Anora. It's so backwards. I will say I really liked Anora and I really liked the Armenian goons in this movie. I thought it was funny. I do understand the case why some people had issues with it. For me, I thought it was funny. But thank you for your comments. Madison, you're leaving another comment. I thought Anora wasn't as good, but I can understand the win. I would have preferably gave it to Dune, Chu, Nosferatu, or maybe even Nickel Boys. I will say my favorite film of this year did not get a Best Picture nomination. It was Civil War. But yes, in terms of Anora, the films that I would have given an Oscar win to over it, I would have given that win over to The Substance, I'm Still Here. Were those the only films that were nominated over it that I would have given it to? Let me just check my notes. I just need to refresh on what were the 10. Conclave, I would not have given it to over Anora. Wicked's close, but I still probably would have gone Anora. The Substance would have gone over. Emilia Perez, definitely not giving it over Anora. Dune Part 2, not giving it over Anora. The Brutalist, not giving it over to Anora. I'm Still Here, yes. Nickel Boys, I wasn't as high on other people were on Nickel Boys, but there is a real... Here's the thing that frustrated me with Nickel Boys, Madison, just because you're commenting. I want to just say one of the things that drove me absolutely freaking insane about Nickel Boys with the Academies this year. How does this film break through Best Picture and even get the adapted screenplay, and you don't give it the fucking cinematography nomination? That movie is cinematography. That is camera work. Like, what the hell was that? Like, Nickel Boys gets rewarded and doesn't get into the category that it needs to most get rewarded in, and honestly should have won. Like, what? Like, that was bizarre to me. That was when I knew Nickel Boys, there was no chance that I could win Best Picture. I think the honor was the nomination. I just didn't understand how it missed out on that. So True Films over at The Substance, I'm Still Here. Those would have been my Best Picture wins over Nora. But again, that's pretty good for me this year. Let's just read this comment. Again, I'm sorry that I can't pronounce your name and I don't want to botch it. I Am Still Here is wonderful. It indeed is. Alan Robinson, Wesley Lopez Rodriguez, you're killing me, man. I got to read that name each time. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you're subscribed. Probably The Substance will have a bigger longevity than Anora. That I agree with. I think horror genre does have that. Madison, I agree with you, Alan. I think that, oh, you're responding to Alan in the chat. Madison, can we discuss the flow upset though? That really set the tone for the night. Yes, I did write that down. Let me read some. Madison, you're really like keeping me organized today. Thank you so much. Let's just like talk about some of the stuff that I wrote down as the show was going on. International upsets, Flow, and In the Shadows of the Cypress. Those were two films that I hadn't predicted to win animated and animated short. They did. One of them is from Latvia, the other one's from Iran. I will just say the animated short for In the Shadow of the Cypress, I did not like that film at all. Other notes that I had, let's just see anything else that I thought was interesting to know. Ben Stiller, OG Oscar presenter. I thought his bit was really funny. Trying to see, was there anything else? We're going to get to some of these predictions in a second. But yeah, those were just some of the notes that I had done. Madison, yes, the first person POV for Nickel Boys was very innovative for this year's body of work. So let's now, thank you, Madison, for your comment. Let's jump into this. I wanted to actually share my screen one more time because some of you guys voted. I wanted to just kind of see how we did this year. So let me share my screen. Let me get it up there. Yeah, let me see if I can get this a little bigger for you guys. Can you guys? Oh, that's probably the best way to read this. So we had you guys, I had filmed a video a few days ago where I was talking, about what was I, who I thought was going to win. And I created a Google form. 29 of you guys responded so we could kind of go through your predictions. So let's just kind of see what consensus had and where we went right, where we got wrong. I can say on my side, let me just do the math real quick. I have my notes here. What I got wrong this year was best animated short, best animated feature, film editing, best live action short, best documentary short. God, I went 0 for 3 on all the shorts, and this was the first year that I saw all 3 of the shorts. Best sound I got wrong, best international I got wrong, best actress I got wrong, best director I got wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 wrong this year. Bad year for me. Usually I'm somewhere around 18, 20. This was horrendous for me. But let's just kind of look through these. Actress in a supporting role, I got 29%, 29 responses. 69% of us said Zoe Saldana, Emilia Perez. That was the heavy consensus, and that I agreed with. Animated short. Let's see. The winner of this was Yuck, which is also what I predicted. I got wrong. 34.5 said Yuck. In the Shadows of the Cypress was actually the least voted on, 10%. So we all kind of got that wrong. Animated feature film. Let me move this a little bit. Animated feature film. You guys got this right and I got it wrong. I had said The Wild Robot, which got 41% of the votes. Flow got 48%. So you guys were right. I was wrong on that one. Let's keep scrolling down. Writing original screenplay. Anora 48.3, which is what I said, if I'm correct. Yeah. So 48.3. We all got that right. Came in second place was The Substance. Writing adapted screenplay, the heavy favorite, basically at 90%. Conclave. Makeup and hairstyling. We had The Substance, 72%. That was also my vote. So we got consensus right there. Production design, Wicked with 58.6% of the votes. That was also my prediction. Costume design, 62% went to Wicked. That was also the consensus. That's what I picked. International feature film, 86.2. I had this wrong. I did say Emilia Perez, and I said it on my show. I was, Jesus. Sorry, I almost choked on air. International feature film, 86.2. And I had said, in fairness for defending my Emilia Perez pick, I did it just to not jinx I'm Still Here. I really wanted I'm Still Here to win. Actor in a supporting role, Kieran Culkin, 82.8%. He was a heavy favorite. He clearly won. Yora got it 13.8. Norton didn't make it on the board. I was kind of surprised about that. Visual effects, Dune Part 2, 89.7. Very clear. Film editing, 44.8%. Conclave. That ended up losing to Anora, which got 20.7% of the vote. So we were wrong on there. 13 of us said Conclave. Documentary short, The Only Girl in the Orchestra. What do you guys know that I didn't know? Was there some precursors that I missed for this? I don't think I had seen The Only Girl in the Orchestra yet. Maybe I had by the time I had recorded that video. 62.1, so 18% of you. I had said Incident, which I thought, just quick shout out, seek out Incident. This is on the New Yorker. You can find it on YouTube right now. By far the best documentary short this year. It was one of my favorite movies of this year. It is essentially all filmed via body cameras. police body cameras and security footage of an incident that involves police killing a black man in Chicago 2018. I thought this was such a incredibly powerful, inventive, matter of fact way to present a documentary short. I was really rooting for that one. I think the worst documentary short one, to be honest. Documentary feature, I had said No Other Land, so did Consensus 51.7. Cinematography, The Brutalist 65.5. I agree with that one. Live action short, this one was really split. 31% did say I'm not a robot. 27%, which included me, said Aline, which ended up being wrong. And then sound. Dune Part 2 was the heavy favorite with 48%, Wicked coming in second. I got this wrong. I did vote Wicked. Music original score, the heavy favorite was The Brutalist, which I did predict. Music original song, El Mal with 69%. Nice. Actor in a leading role, Adrian Brody, 62.1%. The other ones, the 8 of us went strong on Timothee Chalamet. Actually, now thinking about it, the 8 of you guys were alone because I did also vote Brody to win, even though Chalamet was my favorite. Actress in a leading role, I can definitely see the Brazil influence on my channel. 17, 58.6% voted Fernanda Torres. Second place was Mikey Madison, 24%. Best picture, it was split. We did have Anora as the favorite with 44.8%. I'm Still Here with 24%. Doom Part 2 with 6.9%. Conclave with 13.8%. And then The Brutalist with 10.3%. And then Wicked, it doesn't look like Wicked made it on the board. So sad for Wicked in the substance. Yeah. And it doesn't look like that one made the board. So let's just see real quick. Alan left another comment. I didn't like the first person POV in Nickel Boys. I think it sacrificed the casting performances. That was kind of my issue with the movie as well. And I think Anjanou Ellis is able to get through with that still. And I think she's very powerful in that movie. But yeah, I had that same one. Madison, you had 15 for 22. I think, isn't there 23 nominations? So you might have one missing. I got 9 wrong, I think is what I said. So I went, I can't do math in my head. I think I went 15 for 23. So we basically probably went about the same. Demi / Torres robbed. Again, like I said, I kind of wished either one of them won it over Madison, but I don't think it's that bad of a win. Don't know what this is a comment to, but okay, I will be staying on air for just a few more minutes. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, now is the moment to get it on. In the meantime, I will just start talking for a few more minutes before I wrap this up. But again, if you guys have comments, please do feel free to leave them. I'll stay on as long as you guys are having them. Oh, Madison, 16 for 23. You beat me by 1 this year. So congratulations to you. Madison, another comment from you. Madison, you're going to keep me online all night. Hopefully Mikey Madison, a fellow Madison, doesn't get too much hate for this win. I don't think she will. I think there will be an initial backlash, but I do think Anora is a film that a lot of people really do have an affection for. I don't suspect it to have that bad of a backlash. But let me see. Is there anything else I want to highlight real quick? Tuesday or maybe tomorrow, Monday, I'm still trying to figure it out. I want to make another video just kind of recapping this year's Oscars, but maybe I don't need to. So I think I'm going to pull a mulligan right here on air. Tuesday, look out for a video probably entitled, no, maybe not. Tuesday or Thursday, look out for way too early Oscar predictions 2026. I have films that we're going to be talking about for like Wicked for Good, the new Paul Thomas Anderson film, the new Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie. We have other films from, trying to think of some of the other directors. Chloe Zhao has a new film out this year. We have the new Noah Baumbach film with George Clooney and Adam Sandler. Like, we're going to be talking about so many films. So make sure to subscribe. That's one of my favorite videos I do each year. Mickey 17 review coming out later this week, either Friday or Sunday. Still got to kind of figure this one out. Madison, have a good night. That was a fun little live stream. Madison, thank you for sticking around with me. And I hope, if you haven't done so, I hope you subscribe. But thank you so much. You kept me organized. You're the real one. Have a great night. So that's all that. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I have. Like I said, I may be doing another video. Kind of keep an eye out. I'll just kind of allude to it. I've done a series for the past 2 years, 10 reasons why blank won Best Picture. So in this case, it would be 10 reasons why Anora won Best Picture. Look out for that because I may be doing that, uh, which would post probably tomorrow. But if it doesn't, that means I just kind of axed that idea. Besides that, reviews coming out as normal. Thank you all to stuck around. I had a few of you guys in here for a long time. I saw a lot of people jumping in and out. I really do appreciate it. And make sure to subscribe. That's what really helps me out. And I'll make this spiel one last time. I am independent. I am not a part of these presses. Like I have to advocate for myself. And the way I advocate for that is through you guys. I say, look at the videos that I'm getting success for. Look at these reviews that are popping off. Look at the comments. Look at all of this. That's why I deserve a foot in the door to go see these movies, to review these movies, because I have a way for people to engage and champion movies that are great. I can do that because of you guys. So I am fully grateful and honored for your guys's love that you've shown me this past year and just helping me grow, helping me get to 3,000. My goal was to get to 3,000 by the end of 2025. And I'm already at 2,800 after starting at like 1,500 in January. Like your guys' support means the world to me. I really do. Thank you all for that. And just, yeah, no, it really does mean the world to me. So subscribe to my channel and thank you. Thank you for, and one last comment. Linklater has one. Did he win for Boyhood? Did he win an Oscar for Boyhood? I don't remember. I guess if you're saying he did, he did. I don't remember that, to be honest. But thank you all to everyone who's watched this live long stream. And yeah, subscribe to the channel and check back out. And again, if you guys have any suggestions for videos you just want to see in the future, me going backwards and looking at some past Oscar movies, let me know in the comments below. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.